The church doesn't want to gain donations. The church wants to create donators.
This is gonna be the best day ever. This is gonna be the best day ever. Wake up.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Ward Radio. I am your host, Cardinellis, and today I'm joined in the studio by Jonah Barnes, comedic editor at large, associate professor of all things apocryphal. And today, the Ward Radio watchdog bringing us all the latest news from the worldwide radio family. All right. We did a recent episode on the church crushing it in Cambodia. Now you say that they're in Liberia, and I don't know what the alliteration is. Not losing it in Liberia because they're doing
loving it.
Loving life in Liberia.
Loving life in oh yeah, okay.
I don't know a word that starts with an L for improving or doing well or otherwise just killing it in Liberia. But we will find that out by the end of the episode. For now, why don't you just tell us what's going on in Liberia, my man? You seemed really excited to tell us about it.
This is really cool. And there's a little bit of a backstory we're going to get into, but the elevator speech is the church is helping to build food co-ops in Liberia in Africa.
Cool.
They've been putting this on the church news the past few days because it's a really cool program. It's a really successful program. So I put a link in the Discord to the church news that talks right about this. It is not just donating money over there, but it's building a self-reliance feeding program.
Wow.
And church leaders have been touring around there with people. I think his name is Kayunga. Elder Kayunga is the guy kind of in charge over there. And they work with local communities in Liberia's had some problems.
Yeah,
some big problems for a long time. And they've been trying to. So they had a civil war. So the church got there about 20 years ago. They had a horrible civil war, and then they had an Ebola outbreak. And so it's been a dicey place. Yeah. But now the church is starting to finally get into Liberia, and it has needs that are big time. They don't have, their economy is totally shot. There's lots of food insecurity or starvation. And so instead of just going there and handing out money to people, the church is partnering with farmers to teach them how to grow rice and how to package it and how to sell it. And how
I was going to say, dude, when I was in high school, I remember reading, there was a very popular article that went around called The Futility of Global Thinking. And it actually talked about the harm that could be done. No, not the futility of global thinking. Sorry. There was another article that was tied to the futility of global thinking, where it talked about this guy saying, hey, we need to stop food programs in Africa because when all of the Western nations come in and just give a bunch of food, it actually bankrupts the local farmers that can't compete. Yeah. And they're actually having a problem. And it was written by somebody who's intimately tied to Africa and loved Africa. And he's like, wait, hold on. Okay. Great noble intentions, but we're having some serious unforeseen consequences here. And he had to say, when we just give food to Africans, we accidentally bankrupt out of the short-term economy that is created. You know what I'm saying? All the local farmers. And he's like, it would actually be more helpful if you could use just have other people buy the wheat and then pay to have the farmers come here and teach us how to farm and modernize our agriculture to be more efficient. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, if you show up with 50 shipping containers of wheat, you've accidentally screwed all the local wheat farmers that do this.
You killed them, yeah.
And so you would never want to tell somebody not to donate when there's an immediate need for wheat and for food. But at the same time, you're like, crap, you don't want to destroy the local economy through unintended consequences.
Yes.
So it really takes people that are on the ground that can kind of understand, okay, this is what we need now. This is who we need to empower. We need to teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime, so on and so forth. So I love that there's people. I can't make these judgment calls from afar. You can't make them from afar.
No.
But it sounds like they got some good peeps here that are doing this. So I'm just going to read the article really fast. It says, building self-reliance and feeding the hungry in Liberia. Church leaders spend a week in Liberia with World Food Program USA to see how funding is increasing self-reliance and reducing food security. Okay. This is one of the few things that I actually think, okay, the UN is useful. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, cool. I can see how the UN would be a decent partner in this, all right? Other things, it's like, I mean, when you've got like literally human rights violators on the human rights,
and you do.
You know, who's the big human rights violator that they just called to be on?
I mean, Russia sits on the Security Council. What is it, like Iran or something?
Yeah, it was absurd. It was like,
head of the human rights commission,
and like Saudi
what?
Arabia, or like they just summarily,
Yes.
it's like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
So anyway, the UN looks like they're helping out here, and it seems to be that they're doing a good job, at least from where we can see from afar. But it says since last year, students of Carysburg, Liberia, have been receiving hot meals each day, produce from the new school garden supplements and meals, and helps children learn gardening skills. The food and garden and fuel efficient stove given to Carysburg Elementary School are part of a joint initiative between the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints and the World Food Program in this Western African nation.
And this is just a little part of it. So this is a series of articles they put out about how they go all up and down the supply chain. So the church goes there and it finds farmers, and it says, you have this big piece of equipment and they have this land. And if you were to kind of share this, you could do way, way better. And so it's creating co-ops of farmers so that they can produce more, and then saying, okay, now you can only eat this much, but you can sell that much. If you sell it in bulk, if you ship it together, you can make, and so it's helping build the supply chain from the farmer all the way up to putting a little stove or putting a little school garden at an elementary school. And it's helping these people help themselves. That's the whole idea, is self-sufficiency. It's not just parachuting in and dropping a container full of food and then jetting back to the United States.
Yes, throwing money at problems almost never works,
Yes.
except for in the most immediate of short terms.
Yes. Now, an example of this, which is another thing that I put in the Discord.
Okay, I'm on it. I'm checking out the Discord.
This is why people. It's the most recent little snippet. It says mismanagement.
Is it this one right here?
Oh no, this is wonderful. So this is some of the leaders that are meeting with the government officials in Liberia. I mean, pretty high ups there in Liberia, meeting with leaders of the Church of Jesus Christ and getting to know them and making partnerships with them. They do a great job. This is the church growth in Liberia. There's 6 states in Liberia, 67 different congregations.
Holy smoke,
Jeepers.
man.
Yeah, lots and lots of...
There's 20,000 church members in Liberia?
Yeah.
Okay, even if you had a 10% activity rate on the low end.
Well, you
20 or
don't, because you
30
got 67 different congregations.
Oh my gosh, you're right. And you need at least 100 to 150 to on the lowest of, actually I don't think you can have less than 150. Most wards are what, around 200, 250?
And it's growing. It's not like they planted them and they're shrinking. These are newly
got 10
created
family search centers?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I have another snip of just searching on the maps, the meeting room, the meeting houses, find a meeting house app.
Whoa, look at that, dude.
This is just one city. This is the capital city of Liberia.
Oh my gosh. And look right above your head on the screen, Chocolate City.
Chocolate City?
Yeah.
Let's go.
I want to go to Liberia and check out Chocolate City. And if it is not motherfucking Candyland, if they're not handing out free Hershey's bars or whatever the local equivalent is, because it's always interesting eating in other countries' chocolate. You know, like that's always something that's fun for me whenever I travel abroad. You know what was a pleasant surprise? I had a very good Saudi chocolate bar.
Ooh,
Really? It was a Saudi Arabian Mars bar. Okay. And it said like Mars on it, but in the back it was like all Arab. And it was in the first gas station of Saudi Arabia when we were traveling through Saudi Arabia to get to the Valley of Lemuel. Yeah, it was totally cool.
Wow.
So
cool.
I'm sure Chocolate Town probably has
we actually have in the Discord, we have 2 photographs from Chocolate Town.
It's like Willy Wonka.
We sent a correspondent out there. Brother Simpson actually was on the ground in Chocolate Town investigating the church growth in Liberia, and we have photographs of him in Chocolate Town.
Did you just look that up on the fly, bro?
This is what Brother Simpson just sent to us. This is him in Chocolate Town, Liberia, right now. It's amazing. It's amazing. I think that's a meeting house. He's right in front of right there. The site of the temple. I think this is the site of the Monrovia temple that they're building. But that's Chocolate Town. No, but the church is doing very well in Liberia, and the church and chocolate. This is a great place. It's just
so.
Like
what's
a great
the
place.
L word that we were looking for? Not posting their L's in Liberia, or instead of crushing it in Cambodia, we're looking for
Living it up.
Living it up in Liberia. Well, I
Living
wouldn't
it
say
up.
living it up if they're asking for help and assistance with food
I
security.
don't know, man. The
That's,
comments will figure it out.
Yeah, the comments will figure out. We're gonna find it before the end of the episode. But yeah, this is some really, really cool and intriguing stuff. And I am just happy to see a total church membership of almost 20,000 people with 6 stakes and 67
And it's
congregations.
growing like a weed. Growing like a weed. Now
Wow,
there's
look at that.
there's another piece in there that mismanagement and abuse of funding. This might help people understand why the church does what it does. This is just from Wikipedia about the United Nations UNICEF program from the 1990s. Some of us here are super duper old, and we remember.
So this wasn't the church having
No.
abuse of funding. This was the
This is
UN.
this is the UNICEF.
Are you crushing the little bit of hope that I put in the UN earlier in this episode? You're about to crush it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
no, but this is what happened. So in 1995, called the worst scandal in its history, UNICEF disclosed that 24 employees in Kenya. There was some in Germany. There were many of them that were discovered were just squandering or embezzling millions and millions of dollars that had been donated to UNICEF. The UNICEF is specifically for food security. This fraud consumed more than a quarter of their $37 million 2-year budget for Kenya. Remember, this is 1995. You could buy a gallon of gas for 5 cents. So in the Germanys in the late 2000s, UNICEF was accused of mismanagement, abuse, and waste again. 5,000 donors abandoned them, yada, 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 2012. So this has been a problem. This is what happens when you just like parachute in and throw pallets of cash.
Well, also, this is what happens when you tell people in a secular society that is not rooted in Judeo-Christian morals that they need to help out their fellow man. Their fellow man doesn't matter if he's not a fellow child of God. When you eliminate God from the equation, you have no root for charity. And this is why when we're making our rule, the top 30 rules of anti-Mormons, okay, we say it is so foolish when they accuse the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints about, oh, you should give more money to this or to that, or you should donate to my favorite charity or whatever. They're always so critical of how the church spends its money because it has money. Because why aren't you broken? Why aren't you paycheck to paycheck like every other charity? And they always cite other charities out there as examples of the way it should be done. I'm sorry, this is not the way it should be done.
Not the way it should be done. The church doesn't want to gain donations. The church wants to create donators. The church doesn't want to, funnel funds from these people to those people. The church wants to help the recipients help themselves. They want to teach people to fish. That's what this is all about. And so this is just an example in the 90s when UNICEF learned the hard way. What happens when you just have pallets of cash lying around is that it gets embezzled. So the church does not do that. It's slow. It's trying to cultivate charity in local populations. So it goes to Monrovia and it creates partnerships, helps these people help themselves so that they're not dependent upon handouts from foreign nations. It's a brilliant program. And this is why the church acts the way it does. And it often gets criticized by, corrupt dictators in Africa who say, why aren't you giving more money? You should give more money with your money. And the anti-Mormons toe the line for them. No, the church is changing lives and improving souls to help them change their own family's economic situations, pass it on to their children, break the cycle of poverty. It's brilliant. It's a really great program.
And I love this little quote here that says, young people and families don't want a handout, they want a hand up. Sager said, thank you for spending your week with us to see some of the transformational work we're doing together to lift up communities across Liberia. We couldn't do it without your generous support.
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful and so good to hear. And it's one of the things where I wish the church would do more to publicize this. There is an ethos that exists in our 1960s niceness culture, which still predominates most of the bureaucracy and most of the leadership of their church, where it's just credit is anathema, and I don't think it's prideful to broadcast. Now they did make a church news article out of it, right? But they don't put the full-fledged power of the PR apparatus of the church behind broadcasting some of these charitable things that they do. And I think it's actually important as a person that works in marketing. I'm not saying I think you should do it to market to improve the image of the church. I think you should do it to market to others to show that you can do it too. We did it. You can do it too. You literally, like, if you're a talented doctor, you can sign up for our missionary program. You can be a senior couple missionary that goes out and serves for 6 months as a doctor, kind of Doctors Without Borders style. You know what I'm saying? You can donate to these good programs. Look, we've teamed up with the Giving Machines. Look, we've teamed up with UNICEF. Look, we've teamed up. Like, there's a difference between saying, I want to broadcast this service project so I look good, which is what the scripture says you shouldn't do. It says literally, if you seek your alms to be seen of men, then
you have your reward.
You have your reward, and that's in earth. But fine, don't broadcast it to seek the recognition of men. Broadcast it to create other benefactors.
Yes, to show we figured it out. We cracked the code.
Yes, there's something that can work. We can't save everybody, but in this spot at this time, this seems to have worked. All hands on deck. Let's storm the proverbial Bastille together.
Yeah.
Because multiple benefactors will always produce more than individual benefactors.
Yes. And the church wants more donators, not just donations. Now, before we go, there's one last thing we wanted to talk about. I just put it in the Discord. It's a photograph of the temple site for the new Monrovia, Liberia temple.
Okay.
And the church has sadly not publicized this enough that the temple is not going to be made out of white chocolate.
The land of chocolate.
It's very sad that it's not going to be made. People were wondering if it was going to be made out of white chocolate because we want to be true to the center around to the local geography, architecture.
Do you like white chocolate?
And so,
just be honest. Do you like white chocolate? Like, have you ever had those white chocolate teddy bears during Christmas time? And
I've
stuff
never been a big chocolate guy. I've never been a big. My wife loves chocolate. I'm not a huge fan of chocolate.
I actually like it. Nobody else in my family likes it. I recognize it tastes a little bit weird. I draw the line at the black Twizzlers that are that really the black licorice. I can do the red licorice. I can do the nibs, and I can do the little Twizzler thing. Is any of that red? Even the cheap stuff that you buy in the big bucket that we've all mistaken for lunch one day and then gotten sick. You know what I'm saying? Like I can do all of those, but white chocolate, I don't know if I would want to eat a temple that was cast in white chocolate. Also, for any of you guys that are on the radio that are just tuning in right now, we're actually doing a callback to an earlier joke that was done about the fact we were checking out this map here of just the church blowing up in Liberia with chapels everywhere. I mean, when you just look up Monrovia, Liberia, you're just going to see chapel after chapel after chapel after chapel after chapel all over. I mean, it's almost like looking up Subways or 7-Elevens.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Chicago or Detroit or something, right? And we noticed that one of the first suburbs of Monrovia is called Chocolate City. Which is awesome. And it just makes me think like, either they were exporting some serious chocolate, but isn't chocolate beans, don't those come from South America?
I don't know. Maybe they grow there too.
Maybe they grow there too. That must have been an awesome export. It's just like, what's that city in Pennsylvania? Wasn't called Rubber Town?
Because
they were like, they just like exported rubber. So they just said, we're Rubber Town. That's what we are, right? So anyway, we do not know the origin story of Chocolate City, but we would love to find out, and our wildest dreams of it being Willy Wonka's African headquarters, you know what I'm saying? And golden tickets floating around for us to go visit our brothers and sisters in all these awesome chapels. Yeah, we're going to keep manifesting that until it happens.
That's got to be it. Yeah.
So anything we missed in Liberia?
Just like if you want to help people, it's hard and it takes time, and the church has cracked the code.
I figured it out. Speaking of cracking the code, lovingly laboring in Liberia.
Oh, wow!
We got it, bro.
Radio, you know,
the labor of love in Liberia.
Ooh,
it's a little bit boring. We'll have to spice it up.
The alliterative labor of alliteration in Liberia.
The luscious litmus test that is done. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, anyway, this is super good news. Thanks for bringing this to my attention. I love it when I hear good stories like that. It makes me it makes me feel like a part of something and inspires me to want to help out. I think this is some of the best things. This is some of the best work that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints does. Thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Sure, man.
As always, guys, please make sure that you like this video. If you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, please make sure that you subscribe. Also, here somewhere, and then right about here, there's going to be another video that you can check out. Please make sure you review those at your leisure. If you want to contribute to the program, please consider giving us contribution via Venmo or the Cash App. And as always, sign up for our newsletter at wardradio.com.
This is gonna be the best day ever. This is gonna be the best day ever. Wake up, top of the morning. The bacon is crispy, the coffee is pouring. My meditation is peeling an orange. The bank says I'm already scoring. I got a parking spot right outside. Step into my brand new ride.